Howard University commencement is one of those experiences that's hard to explain if you've never been there. It's loud in the best possible ways. Families are dressed up like they're attending a graduation, a family reunion, and a photo shoot all at the same time. Somebody's auntie is yelling across the yard, and there's the giant photo signs on sticks so graduates can spot their people in the crowd. Everybody's emotional. Everybody's trying not to cry while very clearly crying. And what struck me this year is that for the first time, I wasn't experiencing it as a guest or as a student. I was there as faculty. And that just landed on me in a way that I wasn't fully expecting. A few days earlier, we had the social work honors and recognition ceremony. And now this is where we spent specific time with our graduates. Each of their names were called. They walked across the stage, and we recognized some of those special achievements of our students. And now the way that we do our hooding at Howard is a little bit different because that actually takes place at commencement. But this one, the students actually will hood each other. So you have the president and then the dean, they do the formal conferring, and then they hood themselves, right? And honestly, standing there as faculty to watch them and to honor them, right? Watching them guide each other through that moment while we stood and were present, that might be one of the most social work things I've ever seen. Watching them straightening out each other's hoods, fix each other's regalia. Some of them are crying, they're laughing, taking selfies. And it's just beautiful. You see a joy in the smiles on people like you had never seen before. This is season 2 of Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole. Welcome back to Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole, where we talk about healing, faith, emotional wellness, identity, purpose, and what it actually looks like to become who God called you to be. I'm your host, Dr. J. Nicole, therapist, educator, speaker, world traveler, and somebody who is still learning, growing, healing, and evolving in real time right alongside you. And today's episode feels especially personal. This commencement season stirred up a lot of emotions for me, but in the best way. Watching my students graduate, watching Black families celebrate each other publicly, watching previous Rise and Thrive guests hit major milestones, watching people step into new versions of themselves. And honestly, it made me think deeply about Black excellence, not just what it looks like externally, but what it costs emotionally, what it requires psychologically, and that responsibility comes with becoming. And one thing that I love about Howard, and there are many things, is that there is no singular Black experience there at Howard. You see every version of us, first generation students, legacy families, students from wealth, students figuring it out semester to semester, people from all over the country and all over the world. And for one weekend, everyone comes together to celebrate becoming. I think that's why Howard commencement feels different emotionally. It's not just academic achievement. You are watching generations celebrate survival, sacrifice, access, opportunity, faith, and community all at the same time. And this year, I experienced it differently because I was watching it through multiple lenses at once. I was there as faculty for the main commencement for the first time. And what mattered to me more than I expected is just seeing the students and that I had played a role in their education and their becoming, this version of becoming. And it's not that I needed another accomplishment, but because these are the moments in life where you really quietly realize how far God has brought you. And for me, standing there in my regalia, watching students cross that stage, one of those moments. So I'm from Racine, Wisconsin. And if you know anything about cities like Racine, you understand pretty quickly that your environment can shape how early you learn survival. I understood instability before I had a language for instability. I learned hyper independence before I understood trauma responses. I understood achievement before I understood healing. My parents struggled with substance abuse, and my great aunt, she stepped in and became one of the most stabilizing forces in my life. And honestly, when I look back now through the lens of being a therapist, I realize education became more than academics for me very early. It became safety, it became structure, it became possibility, and even identity. And I didn't have language for cycle breaking back then. I just knew that I wanted different. And now, years later, I'm standing at Howard University as faculty, watching students enter the next chapter of their life. And that's not lost on me. Not at all. Life moves fast, and somewhere between work responsibilities and routine, a lot of people stopped experiencing it. That's why I'm creating something different, curated global experiences designed for people who want beauty, culture, luxury, connection, and moments that are unforgettable from the second you arrive. Not just another trip, the kind of experience that stays with you long after you come home. This is your sign to join the VIP list before destinations are released. Link in bio. And something else that made this particularly special is one of my childhood friends, some of you may know, Karan Butler. He was there celebrating the graduation of his daughter, Mia Butler. And so to have this full circle moment, you have two people who grew up in the same neighborhood, one who went on to play in the NBA, become an NBA champion. He's now coaching with the Miami Heat. And me, him, and his daughter take this beautiful photo with both of us in our regalia. There was no way that either of us could have known as children that that moment would be in our future. And really and truly, he had no idea that I was even going to be there. I found out the night before because his wife had saw a post that I had put up from Friday's ceremony. And so she was like, just, we got to connect afterwards. And so, man, talk about legacy and seeing what he has built with his wife and his children, and all of his children were present. So it was just a beautiful thing to see. And so, man, it was just one of those moments that I don't have words for. And something else that made this special is I got to watch two of my previous guests from Rise and Thrive reach major milestones in their journeys. And that also felt very special. Because one of the beautiful things about this platform is that it allows us to witness people in process, not just accomplishments, not just titles, but purpose unfolding in real time. And this season, we got to celebrate that in a very tangible way. The first person I want to recognize is Michael LaRoche, who many of you remember from season 1 of Rise and Thrive. Michael completed his executive MBA from Howard University, which is his second degree from Howard University. And if you watched his episode, you know his story of coming from Trinidad, immigrating here, and finding his way. And honestly, all of this, it deserves real recognition because there's a kind of discipline that's required to return to the classroom once life is already fully moving. You got career, responsibilities, expectations, pressure. Choosing growth again anyway says something about a person. And what stood out to me the most is that this isn't just about adding a credential. You can tell when someone is committed to becoming more intentional, more refined, more expanded in how they move through the world. And that's different. And I think there's something really powerful about somebody saying, I've already accomplished things and I still have the humility to keep learning. That's leadership. And I also want to celebrate previous Rising Thrive guest, LB Towns Jr., who completed his bachelor's degree at Howard University over the weekend and is continuing to pursue his education by getting a master's degree in economics. And if you haven't already caught his episode, it premiered last week, and I'll make sure that it is linked here for you so you could check it out and learn about LB's amazing story, his 18 siblings. Y'all, I got to meet the whole town's family. It was amazing just seeing all of them. Everyone wore white, so you could not miss them. It was such a beautiful moment. And his mother, she was so sweet, so very sweet. And his dad had this very calm presence, that quiet power. But I really want to just take a pause and honor that accomplishment fully, because rushing to the next thing is, it can stop us from really just letting it all sink in. Achieving a bachelor's degree after what LB has overcome, man, it's a beautiful thing. And sometimes ambitious people, we can move through our milestones too quickly. A Howard degree is a major accomplishment, period. Okay. And what I appreciate about LB is that you can feel the intentionality in him. It's not perfection, but purpose. And economics is really about systems, access, resources, power, opportunity, and decision making. So when I see a young Black man intentionally pursuing that field, I don't just see career ambition, I see preparation. I see preparation to enter rooms that shape communities and outcomes. Preparation to understand systems deeply enough to eventually influence them. And honestly, being able to celebrate previous Rise and Thrive guests during this commencement season felt deeply aligned with what this platform has always been about. It's not about performance or image, but becoming, healing, growth, purpose, expansion, community. And watching people evolve in real time and taking time to honor that evolution out loud. And I think we need more of that in our culture. Not just people consuming, but people celebrating them. We're not just watching people rise, but pausing long enough to acknowledge the work that it took to get there. I think one of the conversations we don't have enough is about how Black excellence becomes connected to survival. And for many of us, excellence was not just about ambition, it was about protection, it's about access, it's about safety, it's about proving we belonged in rooms we were often never expected to enter. And while that drive can absolutely produce achievement, it can quietly produce exhaustion if healing never enters that equation. And as a therapist, one thing that I've learned over and over again is that achievement and emotional wellness are not automatically connected. You can accomplish extraordinary and incredible things and still be anxious. You can still be dysregulated. You can be emotionally exhausted or even struggling to feel worthy outside of performance. And I think that's part of what made this commencement season emotional for me personally, because I wasn't just proud, I was present. Quick pause. I've been loving Canvas Beauty, a Black woman owned brand all about confidence and self care. Shop canvasbeautybrand.com/Genie3 and use code Genie3 to save. Now back to Rise and Thrive. All right, beautiful people. If this episode has already blessed you in any sort of way, we ask that you like, subscribe, follow, share, and leave comments. Feedback helps this message reach the people who need it most. And if you're listening and thinking, I'm ready to go deeper in my healing journey, we invite you to join our school community where we continue these conversations between episodes. And it's an opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals committed to growth, healing, and purpose. Also, do not forget, you can shop the merch and also explore all things Evolve at evolvewithdrjnicole.com. If you love today's look and you're wondering about this hair, you can use my promo code with the link in the description to get 15% off with Eunice hair. And for people who've spent large parts of their lives surviving, fully allowing yourself to be present inside of a good moment actually takes intentional work. And I think sometimes we move through our accomplishments so quickly that we never emotionally arrive in them. We achieve one thing and then boop, we're on to the next thing. We minimize our milestones. We even downplay ourselves sometimes, and we struggle to receive joy. But this year, I made a conscious decision not to do that. I let myself feel it, not for ego, but from gratitude. Gratitude for my journey, gratitude for my healing, gratitude for my growing. Gratitude for every student I've had the privilege to teach. Gratitude for the little girl from Racine, Wisconsin, who kept believing that there had to be more life for her. Gratitude for the people who poured into me. Gratitude for God's faithfulness in every season where I couldn't fully see what He was building. I can't tell my story honestly without talking about God, and not in a performative way, not in a forced way, just truthfully. When I look at my life from Racine to Howard faculty, I know strategy mattered, but I also know that grace did too. And there were doors that were opened that I couldn't have even orchestrated on my own. People who believed in me before I fully believed in myself, moments that looked like delays that turned out to be preparation. And one thing God has really been teaching me lately is this: you cannot achieve your way into wholeness. You have to heal too. You have to slow down long enough to actually become the person your accomplishments are introducing people to. And honestly, one of the most beautiful parts of commencement weekend wasn't even the stage. It was watching Black people celebrate each other publicly. The kind of joy that matters right now. Seeing families screaming for their graduates, seeing the elders emotional, seeing friends fix each other's regalia, seeing students hood one another, seeing pride without apology. There's something healing about witnessing us honor one another out loud. So if you're listening to this episode in the season where you feel like your process is taking longer than expected, keep going. You're in the middle of becoming and it still feels messy. Keep going. If you're healing and building at the same time, keep going. If you've accomplished something recently and haven't really allowed yourself to receive it yet, this is your reminder to pause long enough to let it land. You do not have to push past every beautiful moment in your life. You are allowed to experience it fully. You're allowed to be proud of yourself. You are allowed to acknowledge growth. You are allowed to celebrate becoming. This commencement season reminds us that becoming is rarely glamorous while it's happening. Most of becoming actually looks ordinary. It looks like showing up tired. It looks like trying again. It looks like doing it anyway. It looks like healing slowly, studying anyway, praying anyway, applying anyway, believing anyway. And then one day, people see the milestone. But what they're really seeing is accumulated perseverance. To my students, congratulations. To Michael, congratulations. To LB, congratulations. To everyone listening who is still becoming, your story still matters before the applause. This is Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole. Keep healing, keep growing, keep becoming. And I'll talk to you next episode.